Hi everyone, I'm Torzi and welcome to this 30-minute yoga sequence with Runna. We're going to start in a child's pose for this class, so just meet me on your mats. Coming towards the back of your mat here, drawing your knees together, hips back to heels, and then just reaching your hands forward in front of you here on the mat. Welcoming this lovely posture that helps us lengthen out the spine, stretch into the upper arms, and just draw a little bit of grounding into the start of our practice. Just take the opportunity in this first posture to check in with yourself, notice how you feel as you breathe, notice how you feel in your body. And the aim of this practice is to help us restore the physical body, supports our training we've been doing throughout the week, but also I aim to help us prevent our bodies from developing injuries throughout all the miles we're logging. So we're aiming to build stability and strength as well as flexibility and length during these Yoga for Runners sequences. Starting to gently deepen your breath here in your starting posture. Feeling the body expand as you breathe in and relax as you breathe out. Noticing any spaces throughout the muscular system where you feel like you're holding onto tension or tightness. And I'll do my best to guide us through a sequence today that helps us clear these areas of that tension. Moving through dynamic standing and grounded postures that help us use our bodies to stretch out the same body. Okay, let's lift our gaze up towards the tips of the fingers here. We're going to wander our hands off to the right side. You're going to draw your left hand on top of your right hand here and just draw the forehead down to the earth, stretching into the left side of your body. So taking this lateral variation of your child's pose. And then lifting your gaze up to your hands. Walk the hands back through center off to the left side. Guide your right hand over your left. Finding child's pose, lateral variation on the other side. Lengthening into the right side body. Awesome job. Lift your gaze up to your hands. Walk your hands through center. And then start to lift up through your hips. We're actually going to keep our hands shifted towards the top of the mat here. We're going to prepare to come into a calf stretch and ankle mobilization practice to start. So you're going to keep your right knee underneath your right hip here. Find a nice wide spread of your fingertips. And then draw your left toes back behind you. Tucking through the toes and driving back with that left heel and feeling a stretch, finding a stretch through that left calf muscle. Now I always like to mobilize my ankle in this stretch, so coming onto the tips of your toes, driving the left heel back, just finding a little bit of mobility through the ankle joint. You may feel a little click or crack from time to time, but as long as it's not painful, or too alarming, it should be okay. Just your ankle joint finding some alignment there. And then just driving that heel back once more. Amazing. Stretching into the left calf muscle, also stretching into the sole of your left foot. keeping that plantar fascia at the base of the foot nice and supple. Okay, gently guide your shoulders to rest towards those wrists. You're going to guide your right toes off to the side, tucking through the right toes, lifting open through the chest, pointing the left foot towards the back of the mat here and meeting me in a modified side plank. So we're getting a nice opening through the chest here, but also stretching into the side body and stabilizing through the right obliques there. Now we have an option to stay where we are, or we could lift our back leg, or we can bend through our back leg, guide our left hand towards left ankle, and come into this half bow variation for side plank. Pushing down firmly through the right hands, making sure we're still breathing, doing an amazing job. And then gently start to transition back to that grounded variation. So if your hand's on your ankle like me, extending arm and leg out before dropping things back down to the earth, meeting the hands and meeting the knees, facing forward on the mats. Let's draw the right toes back behind us this time, coming onto the other side. Left knee stays underneath left hip. Little bit of core activation here, so draw the belly button up to your spine, stretching through the right calf muscle, and then we can come into those ankle mobilizations, so just coming onto the tips of the toes, driving that right heel back, welcoming some mobility, some flexibility through the ankle, and then just welcoming some static stretch here, so pushing down firmly with your hands, driving that right heel back behind you. Amazing job. Final deep breath on this side. Great, and then gently guiding shoulders over wrists. Draw the left toes off to the side of your mat, tucking the toes for stability, pointing the right foot towards the back of your mat, and then reaching the right fingertips up towards the ceiling for your modified side plank. Equally switching on through the body here, and stretching out, opening up. Now again, we have an option to stay like so. We have an option to lift the back leg, and we have an option to bend into the lifted leg, guiding hand to ankle, and opening into this half bow modification. Just make sure you're still breathing wherever you are, pushing firmly through your left hand for stability. Opening into the chest, front of the shoulder, really good. If you're in the same position as me, let's just meet everyone else by lengthening through arm and leg. And then we can all come back down to the earth, meeting the hands, meeting the knees. Amazing. Make your way into a plank pose here. So shoulders over your hands, pushing firmly away from the earth. Just taking a few rounds of breath here, warming the body. Lovely long line of energy from root to crown. And then you're going to make your way down onto your forearms. You can interlace your fingers in front of you here, coming into a low plank. I find this posture really hard. So just bearing with yourself here, breathing deep, you've got it. Welcoming those little shakes. Amazing, and then drop through the knees, lower your chest down to the earth. Draw your palms underneath your shoulders, pushing into the tops of the feet. Lift through the chest for cobra, and then ground into your left hip and just look over your right shoulder towards your heels. Twisted cobra. Make sure you're not locking through the elbows here, just keep a soft micro bend through the elbows. Come back through center, and then ground the right hip. Looking over that left shoulder towards the feet. Lovely. Come back through center, cobra pose, lift the gaze, and then melt the chest down to the earth. Tuck through the toes here. Guide your hips back to your heels, and then lift your hips up lovely and high for your first downward facing dog. Take a pedal through the legs, walking your dog, and just stretching into the calves, into the hamstrings. Taking a moment just to check in with your foundations here, so pushing firmly down and forward with your hands, down and back with the pads of your feet, softening into the knees and lengthening into the spine. We're then going to root down through our left foot here. Take a deep breath in, sweep the right toes up to the sky for three-legged dog. As you exhale, draw your knee to your chest, shoulders over the wrists, tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Final time, exhale for your tiger pose. Brilliant job. Inhale for three-legged dog. And exhale to meet the feet in downward facing dog. Look to your hands, guide your hands towards your toes, welcoming a forward fold at the back of your mat. Draw your chin to your chest, fold forward over those legs, softening into the knees. Welcome a light sway from side to side, just easing out any kinks through the lower back, the hamstrings. And then centering yourself in stillness on the mat. Lift your fingertips up to your shins, find your flat back here. Exhale, forward folds. And inhale, root to rise, lifting up lovely and tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center, so meeting in mountain pose at the back of your mat here. Drawing your crown of the head up towards the ceiling, lengthening through the back body. And just finding a lovely, strong, stable pose at the back of your mat here, making sure you're not locking through the knees. Amazing. Take a deep breath in, bend into the knees, circle sweep the arms, lifting tall. Exhale, hands to heart center as you fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to fold, and then you're going to walk your hands forward towards the top of your mat, meeting me in downward facing dog. Take a breath in to flow forward for your plank position. Exhale to take chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. It's your choice today. Inhale, up dog or cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to root down through our right foot now, drawing the left toes up towards the sky for your three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, draw the knee to the chest, shoulders over the wrists, tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog, left toes lift high. Exhale, tiger pose, doing amazing. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, our final tiger pose. Beautiful. Inhale to lift for three-legged dog. And exhale to take downward facing dog. Look towards the hands. Start to walk your feet towards your wrists. Meeting me hip width distance, the feet underneath you at the top of your mats. Folding forward over those legs. Let it go for a moment. And then breathe in for your flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rooting to rise. And exhale, hands to your heart center. Amazing job so far. So we're now meeting in mountain pose at the top of our mats. We're going to move into our dynamic sequence, core sequence for this practice, targeting hips and hamstrings in particular today. So we're going to take a deep breath in, lift the prayer up towards the ceiling, and exhale to fold forwards. Inhale for your flat back. Exhale for your forward folds. You're going to step your left toes back behind you, right knee aligned over right ankle as you lift for your high lunge here, opening into your left hip. Strong and stable through the legs, fingertips reaching for the ceiling, and shoulders drawing down away from your ears. Take a breath in with me. As you exhale, guide the chest forward, aeroplane the arms behind you for this powerful lunge stance, and then drop the fingertips either side of your front foot for a supported low lunge. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, start to peel those hip creases back, welcoming your pyramid pose, so stretching out that right hamstring here. Brilliant. Just taking some nice deep breaths, welcoming some stillness here as we guide that right hamstring into a state of stretch, that left calf muscle behind us too. And then dropping down through your back knee, untuck the toes, breathe in to lift for your low crescent lunge, opening into the left hip. Breathe out for your half split, fingertips drop down under the shoulders. And then breathe in to take a twist, lifting the right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to find a little bit of flow with these 3 movements we've just taken. So just take your time, follow your breath, and I'll offer instruction, which I hope will be super helpful. So we're going to take a breath in together in our twist. As you exhale, drop the fingertips to frame that right leg. As you inhale, move forward for your low crescent lunge. Exhale, half split or runner's lunge. Inhale for your twist, rooting through the left fingertips. Exhale, half split, fingertips under shoulders. Inhale, low crescent lunge, doing amazing. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, take your twist. We've got 1 more round. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, low crescent lunge. Amazing. So all meeting back here in your low crescent. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, guide your hands to frame that front foot and heel toe the foot off to the right side of the mat so that you can draw both your hands to the left side of the right foot. So we're moving into a lizard pose here. This really allows for a lot of depth of stretch through that left hip flexor, drawing down into the left quadricep there. If you have super open hips, for the next few rounds of breath, you might want to come down onto your forearms and just welcome a little bit more grounding there in your lizard pose. But as always, just keeping things safe, making sure we're not ever exerting ourselves too much. You want to keep this practice really nice and constructive. Avoiding injuries, not getting injuries through this class. Awesome job. If you've come down onto your forearms there, just nice and slowly make your way up onto your hands, meeting me here. We're going to ease off through that left hip here, just easing the hip creases back, stretching a little into that right leg. And then we're going to move back forward onto that right foot, tuck through the back toes, lift the back knee, and guide the left foot to meet the right at the top of your mat, lowering the hips into a brief yogi squat or garland pose at the top of your mat. Amazing. Okay, draw your fingertips down to the mat in front of you, lift through the hips, heel toe those feet to be hip width distance under you, and fold forwards. Reset to inhale, lengthen your spine, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, and then this time we step those right toes back behind us, left knee aligns over your left ankle, and we sweep fingertips up towards the ceiling for high lunge on the other side, opening into that right hip and feeling strong through your body here, shoulders away from the ears. Amazing. Take a breath in. Exhale to guide the chest forward, aeroplane those arms behind you for this power stance. Awesome. And then we're going to drop your fingertips either side of the left foot. Breathe in, low lunge supported. Exhale, peeling back for your pyramid pose, stretching into that left hamstring, right calf muscle. Nice deep breaths in and out. Awesome job. We're going to drop down through the back knee now. Untuck your toes. And then lift up for your low crescent lunge, breathing in. Exhale, shift the hips back for your half splits. And then root down through the right fingertips. Breathe in as you lift the left fingertips up for your twist. So we're going to come into that movement with breath again here. Taking your time, moving strong and steady. Take a breath in with me for your twist again. Exhale to drop the fingertips, framing that left leg. Inhale, low crescent lunge, lifting fingertips tall. Exhale, half splits. Inhale, twist. Exhale, dropping the fingertips. Inhale, low crescents. Exhale, half splits. Inhale for your twist, last little bits. Exhale, half splits. And inhale, low crescent lunge. Amazing. So really mobilizing into hips and hamstrings throughout this sequence today. Taking a breath in with me here and exhaling to drop your palms to frame that left foot. You're going to heel toe that left foot off to the side, rooting both of your palms to the right side of your left foot for your lizard pose. Easing a stretch here into that psoas muscle, that really big hip flexor that attaches at the bottom of your abdominal wall, down into your quadricep muscle. And just gently easing yourself into this stretch by swaying from side to side. Again, if you came down onto your forearms for a few rounds of breath on your other side, feeling free to make your way back down there again for a few moments of extra depth. Okay, if you came down to your forearms there, just nice and gently make your way back up onto your hands, meeting me here. We're then all going to counter pose, so just gently peeling those hip creases back, lengthening a little into that left leg just to ease off through that right hip. And then we're going to rock back forward onto that left foot, lifting through the back knee, tucking through the back toes, and guiding that right foot to meet the left at the top of the mat in our yogi squats. Opening into those hips. You might want to see here if you can lift the fingertips up towards the ceiling, just a little bit of a challenge. And then pushing down firmly through the feet, lifting all the way up to a standing position, heel toeing the feet to be hip width distance underneath you. Nice big shoulder roll here. And then we're going to move into our balance practice today before taking it down to the earth. So for balance today, we're going to root down through our right foot to start. We're going to draw our left knee up to the chest. And then we're going to guide our right hand to hip. Start to externally rotate through that lifted hip. So that lifted leg even, opening into that left hip. Don't worry if you wobble or fall, find that point of focus. Strong through that grounded foot. And then from here we can make our way into a tree pose, sole of the foot, drawing to be either above or below the knee there, just making sure you're not compressing your knee joints. Lifting up through the crown of the head, stabilizing the entire body here, challenging both your body and mind in single leg balance. And this is a great kind of tester for our progress, how we feel in terms of confidence on one leg, but also an important space to strip back the ego, because some days balance just isn't there as much. So do not be hard on yourself if you feel a little bit more wobbly than usual. Happens all the time, just come back to where you were. Let's gently draw the knee through center and then drop things down, shaking into hands and feet. And then we're going to come onto the other side. So root down firmly through your left foot, guiding the right knee up towards your chest. Finding that point of focus again, if that helps. And then drawing left hand to hip, opening through the lifted leg, opening into that hip, pushing down firmly through your foot. Amazing job. And then we can welcome that transition to tree pose. Sole of the foot either above or below the knee. Doesn't matter which, depends on a few factors, hip mobility, but also just how you're feeling in this moment. And finding that balance. Amazing job. Welcoming those wobbles, those shakes. I find this side a little bit trickier myself, so just working on it too. Nice long spine, strong through the core. Great stuff. And then draw that knee through center, releasing the feet down to the earth. Amazing. Shake into those hands, shake into those feet. Let's come to the top of the mat, coming onto the tips of the toes, welcoming this tricky transition down to the earth. Balance again. We're going to gently start to bend into the knees. If this is dodgy for your knees, of course, just make your way down to the earth safely. But just coming all the way down to the earth. Coming onto our sit bones there. And then coming all the way down onto our backs. Draw the knees up to your chest here. And then guide your soles of your feet towards your hands. Knees into your armpits for a happy baby pose to finish things off today. Just rolling a little from side to side here. And then just drawing the tailbone down to the earth, opening into the upper hamstrings and pelvis here in happy baby. Okay, let's drop the soles of the feet down to the mat. And then we can extend those legs forward in front of us. Palms of the hands can face up by your sides or rest over your belly. And we're welcoming our final posture of our practice, corpse pose. This is the time just to completely relax, let it go, knowing all the movement's done, all the practice is done, and we can just enjoy this time to restore at the end of our class. Disengaging through the body and enjoying this time just to rest. Okay, let's start to wiggle through those fingers, those toes. Gently rock the head from side to side. And then guide your knees up towards your chest. Giving yourself a lovely big hug and just gently rocking from side to side of the spine. Before rolling off to your right side. And making your way into a comfortable seated pose to end our Yoga for Runners practice today. Lengthening through the spine, drawing the crown of the head up to the ceiling. And once you meet me here, breathing in to circle sweep the arms, lifting the hands above the heads, and exhaling hands to your heart center. Just take this moment to thank yourself for practicing today, and I really hope you enjoyed this Yoga for Runners sequence.